Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the sun in the first house in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the planets and the houses and the sun and the houses. And, um, they were a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, the sun in astrology is connected with our focus and attention. So people that have the sun in the first house may put a lot of that focus and attention on self-interest, matters pertaining to the self. The person may come across as a little bit egocentric as a result, but this placement may give an abundance of energy and vitality. I had a friend that had this placement, if I remember right. I think he had the sun in Sagittarius in the first house in his natal chart. He really had a lot of it, and it really always seemed like a surfeit of energy. And I don't know, he just seemed like he was like the Energizer Bunny and just kept going and going and going. And but the thing about this too is that there also can be a lot of focus and attention on the physical body, and whether the person may feel need to work out vigorously to maintain certain physique. And the thing is, I mean, let's say if the sun is in Scorpio as an example, there may be more that need to focus on the transformation of the physical body. And also too, there may be a lot of attention on one's environment. There may be very more of a concern about where the person actually is. A person may be very environmental with this placement. So another thing about the sun in astrology, it's associated with our drive and motivation. So the person may have a tremendous amount of drive and motivation toward new beginnings, toward new projects and endeavors. And the thing is, there may be, this could also be where there's a lot of, the incentive and the motivation, just toward, just starting new projects and endeavors toward matters of the self, whether it's just general self-improvement, whether it's the physical body. It could even be, people that are prominent and were prominent one's early childhood and even a grandparent as well. And a lot of that energy may be going into those matters. And the thing about this too is, the sun in the first house, is similar, could be similar to the sun in Aries, but naturally you got to blend in, the sign as well. I mean, let's say if you have the sun in the first house, but it's in the zodiac sign Cancer. Well, the person, even though the sun's in the first house and it may take on some, like Aries, like overtones, the basic character is still, connect with the zodiac sign Cancer, and the person will be a little bit more, timid, more introverted and shy than a typical person that would have the sun in the first house in their chart, and they're not going to be, nearly as aggressive as compared to somebody that had the sun in Aries, or even the sun in Leo in the first house as an example. Now, another thing too is that the sun is connected with the vitality, has a connection with vitality. So a lot of the energy and vitality of this person may go into making good first impressions on others, about trying to get people a good perception of him or her, and matters just pertaining to the self in general, whether it's buying things for oneself, activities that are associated with the person, and also matters with new beginnings. And say if the sun is in Gemini in the first house as an example, that might be where a person brings a lot of that energy and vitality into manifold new beginnings, or they could be Gemini related, whether it could be something with communication, whether it be doing something as a reporter, writing, journalism, data or satellite communications, doing some things things that require manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics, as some examples. And also too, this is about having having this placement, and the sun in astrology is also it's associated with our actions. And the thing is, and there may be a lot of action again that's connected with new beginnings, new projects and endeavors, matters pertaining to the self, and also people that were prominent in one's, you could say, in the early childhood, and even a grandparent as well. And the actions may be very quick and impulsive, because we are talking about the first house of Aries, in which the sun is posited. And the thing about this too, when you look at this, and the sun also has a connection with the physical body, and the first house is the physical body, so they both have a connection with it. So the thing is that this could give more interest in those matters of the physical body. The person may be more inclined to be doing things to keep the physical body in shape. As I stated before, matters, it could be exercising, being involved in sports, working out vigorously. It could be somebody, let's say if the sun is in Virgo, it could be where a person that may have a lot of focus on doing, going to the doctor for checkups, and maybe more so than the average person. And it could also be the physical body, in the environment, may have a strong connection. As an example, maybe the environment is something which has more of an effect on the person physically than most people on average. And the person, may feel, physically, more, maybe the energy is more about, doing things that are associated, with one's actual environment. And the thing is, and it could also have more of an impact on that energy level, I would say, than many other astrological placements. Now, another thing about the sun in astrology, it's also connected with the biological father and children. So the biological father and children may be very instrumental in new beginnings, new projects and endeavors, and even matters that were connected with one's early childhood, and even activities with a grandparent in some instances. And the thing is, it could be where these people also figure prominently, in terms of how this, how as far as your energy level, your vitality, and your appearance as well, how you come across to others. They may have something more where they factor in more in terms of how your connection with them may play more of a role on how you come across to other people, I would say, as some examples. So now, the sun in astrology is also associated with confidence and self-assuredness. So the sun in the first house, the person, their confidence may beam very bright, shine very brightly for others to see. People can, this placement could radiate energy and vitality, but also confidence may be seen by others on a first impression. It could be an abundance of confidence and self-assuredness, and this person may feel that they could do whatever it is that they set their heart to. And it can be also where there's confidence in making new starts, whether it's a change in environment, whether it's working on some project or endeavor. And also in their interactions with people that they knew that were prominent in the early childhood, a grandparent even. This is where this person may feel supremely confident in those matters. I talked to that person I told you about before. I had this Sagittarius sun. I believe it was in his first house in his natal chart, in that he was very supremely confident. And I even asked him, how we were talking about street sense on a scale of 1 to 10. I think he said something like he thought he was a 9, and he seemed fairly confident in just whatever it was we were talking about, whatever aspect of life it would be. He generally beamed a lot of had a lot of confidence in himself. Now the sun is also about how we may shine. So if you have the sun positive in the first house in your natal chart, you may really desire to shine in matters associated with new beginnings, new projects and endeavors, and could even be meeting new people in some cases. This is about where, matters that are connected, with the physical body as well, your appearance, and making a good impression on others. This placement, I would say, could be auspicious for like going to a prospective employer, being interviewed, and making that good first impression on that person. And also keep in mind the sun is associated with the heart, the spine, the upper back, and the left or right eye, depending on gender. So the fact that it's in the first house of physical body can indicate there may be some issues with one or more of these things, I would say. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.